the 6th grade band concert, the first portion of the evening. We've got a 6th through 8 orchestra and 7th grade band at 7 p.m. tonight, if you have folks in that as well. But our first portion is the 6th grade band, and we're so happy that you're here in support of these fine young ladies and gentlemen who are learning great skills on their instruments this year in the 6th grade. Just a note about etiquette before we get started. These students have been working hard, like I just said, so we really appreciate it. If you need to exit for whatever reason, please do so between numbers and not during the middle of the songs. They're pretty short in 6th grade, so that shouldn't be too much of an issue. But we want all these students to get the attention they deserve, so your cooperation with that is much appreciated. Before we get rolling with the songs, I do also want to extend a thank you to, first of all, the parent, guardian, caregivers of all these students and the things that you do to support them as far as getting them rides to their events, getting them practicing their instruments at home, doing their homework at home, those kind of things. We want to thank you for that support. The more they invest in their instruments, the better they will be, and the better they are, the more they will enjoy their experience in band or any activity for that matter. So we appreciate your support in that way. We'd also want to thank our MCS staff that are present in the audience today. That includes our principals, our secretaries, custodians, all those people help make the building run, our counselors, our fellow teachers. We couldn't do it without them. Also, a special shout out to the telecom department. This is a very busy time of year for them. They're going from concert to concert to concert, one day after the next, and sometimes they're double booked with multiple concerts on the same night. So they create archives that get posted on YouTube and the MCS TV channel so that we can enjoy them afterwards. So we really appreciate all the work you guys do producing them. So thank you to them. And just want to do a quick rundown of their progress. I don't know if you guys remember the last concert, kind of where we left things off. All the songs were pretty short. All the melodies and notes that they were playing were everybody playing the same thing at the same time, which is a lot easier than what they're doing in this concert. This concert, they're starting to play multiple different parts and multiple rhythms at the same time, which requires them to be more independent, and it requires them to really know their music inside and out. So you'll see some evidence of that with some more advanced music and longer songs tonight. So we really hope you enjoy that, and we really hope you are as proud of them as we are. They've made so much progress. I always think that our beginners all kind of develop and figure things out at different times. So some really had it figured out at the last concert, some still have some work to do. I can think of several students that I won't really mention right now, but several students that really made significant progress from the second concert to the third concert. So students, kudos to you guys and the work you have put in to get to that point. We are extremely proud of you. All right, so let's kick this concert off. We're going to do 3 songs and then do some additional award announcements. We're going to do Kumbaya. We're going to do a song called School Spirit. And we're going to do another song called Refried Beans. So we hope you enjoy the first 3 numbers from the 6th grade band. Thank you for being here. Now, next time you have refried beans, you've got a song to hum along with. So, a few items here. Number one, we wanted to take a moment and advertise an opportunity that we've had some students take advantage of over the years in the summer. And this is a camp that Ohio Wesleyan University offers. There's both a day camp option and an overnight camp option experience. And this is just it's called the Summer Music Camp. And they have offerings for band, choir, and orchestra. And there's all kinds of electives related to music that you could take along with this camp experience. They have everything from learning about drum lines, learning about jazz, musical theater, rock bands, you name it. They've got some offerings and additional experiences that they can have in addition to the actual band and the music they can offer. So the dates of that camp, for anybody that might be interested, is the 18th of June to the 23rd of June. So if anybody would be interested in that or want some more information, feel free to call, email, or talk to us. We can give you some information on that. And as part of our Outstanding Member Award, we will be offering a partial scholarship through that camp, assuming the student would be available for that camp. So it's a cool thing we've done over the years that has helped cultivate interest in that camp. So that leads me to our next announcement, and that would be our 6th grade Band Outstanding Member Award for this year. As you can probably imagine, you raise all these kids in front of you. For the most part, they're absolutely wonderful, hardworking, polite students. That's at least the part that we see here in class. So this decision takes a lot of thought, and we wish that we had the ability to honor so many of them, because so many of them are pretty equally deserving of such an honor. But we typically narrow down to one, so we can have two. The winner this year is somebody who obviously has excelled on their instrument as a 6th grader. They've shown great initiative in taking advantage of extra opportunities, such as additional practice time during our AI period, such as helping out with our marching band this fall when needed, and just taking advantage of trips that we take to the elementary schools to demonstrate to the 5th graders. The students did all of those things. And in addition to being a leader in the classroom, they were truly an exceptional player and always pushing the pace for the students around them in the section. And we are very proud today to announce our outstanding 6th grade band member this year as Oliver Gallagher. Again, thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting your students. Anything you can do as we are hitting the summer, anything that you can do to help your students and encourage your students to practice and keep refining their skills. That way they can come back and hit the ground running next year as 7th graders. We certainly appreciate that. And I saw this online the other day, and I think this is a pretty cool idea. Maybe have your students give you a little mini lesson on playing their instrument and see if you can make a sound, play a song, etc., on the instrument. I think that'd be a fun activity for you guys all to partake in, and I hope you consider doing that. We will close our concert with one final tune. I think you'll enjoy it. This is called The Tempest. Appreciate your time tonight.
Real quick, just a round of applause for all the work your kids have done with it. We made it! The end of the year, and this is our big final celebration. But first off, I have some housekeeping things to do, like people to thank. I have to thank admin. Our admin team here is wonderful and so supportive. You would not believe that there was a giant academic assembly here like 3 or 4 hours ago with how much work that's had been put in to just completely rearrange this room. We get so much support from principals, from, I'm looking for her. The superintendent, Olympia, was at my 5th grade concert, and I didn't spot her and thank her, and I was embarrassed. So she's at this one too. I want to make sure she gets a shout out. It's been a while since I've seen a superintendent come to concerts, so it's really cool when I saw her there. And that just shows what kind of supportive admin team we have, that they come to these things. I'd like to thank the secretaries of the school. Oh, there's the principal. There's Mr. Sagan over there. Thank you for coming. I just finished thanking you, and then you walked in. All right, so just make sure you know I did that. All right, secretaries, custodians. I spy some custodians in the audience. I spy the secretary. Just the staff here, the teachers here are so supportive of the students. One particular staff member who's at everything, John Mullins up there recording with Harding High School Telecom. I don't think there's an event this district hosts he's not there at, so the music department and every other department has them to thank. My colleagues, I cannot ask for better music department colleagues, whether it is the choir people or the band people, or the high school or the elementary school. It's a very tight-knit community, us and the other teachers. We all know each other, we all talk to each other. Jacob Hartman and I used to live together, and we're tight, and I cannot imagine a greater group of people to be with. Then most importantly, I would like to thank you, the parents. I know that this is a commitment. Not just for the kids, but on your part. It's a financial commitment. It's a time commitment to come to these, to get your kids, pick them up at after-school rehearsals, to take them to after-school rehearsals, to listen to them practice that first year of playing, where I'm sure they sounded fabulous the first year of playing. I hear laughter in the audience. People picked up on my sarcasm that first year, and you put up with that. And you encourage them to develop into these great musicians that you see in our atmosphere. A few hints for being a good musical audience. A tip and trick is always the most embarrassing thing when you start clapping and then they start continuing playing. So watch for the conductor. When the conductor brings their arms down is your hint that the song is actually over and you have not been fooled by a sneaky piece of music. All right? There are some multi-movement pieces, at least in the orchestra thing, so we'll see how well you remember that. Please hold off on leaving the room till a moment in between pieces while people are applauding. Although I will say, tiny babies do not understand that rule. If you have a screaming small tiny baby, that is an excuse to slip out in the middle of a song. That is perfectly all right. Go ahead and go and deal with one of the 2 issues that small baby might have. I think that's about it. So, I realize that I'm on the cabled one, so I'm going to talk about my first 2 pieces, and then I'm going to come back over here. You see in front of you over there, I am Mr. Patterson, the orchestra director, which you should know by now, but I guess I'll introduce myself again. That is all of the Grant Middle School orchestras, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. Our first piece will be a piece called Wabash Cannonball. It is just the 6th graders, that's why they're sitting up in front. These first 3 pieces are 6th grade pieces, and Wabash Cannonball, this is the first time the 6th graders are playing fully on their own, just as 6th grade, with the independent musicianship to stay together and watch the conductor. Then after that, we're going to do a piece called Sahara Crossing, in which the 6th graders, is the first time that everybody's got their own part. Every instrument does their own thing. And there's whole parts that the 6th grade doesn't have at all that the other grades are handling. And they have a lot of musicianship to develop a song with that many different parts. And so the other grades are going to join in on that one. I'll be back to explain Fumble Fingers and do some other things after that one. But for now, I'm just going to play some music. Thank you very much. At the end of the year, I'd like to award and recognize students who have kind of gone above and beyond, who have some way, shape, or form caught my eye and attention, and I feel deserve extra recognition from what they, just going above and beyond, putting in the extra work, putting in the extra effort and everything. I was thinking about this question of what students have put in the extra effort and extra work during AI, academic intervention, at the time that I do not officially have a class. It's my plan period, the time I have to plan. And I looked up from my piano and saw a classroom full of students working independently on their own, putting the extra effort and extra time, and asking for my help if needed, but mostly just kind of figuring it out on their own and using that time to put the extra effort. And I thought, oh boy, this is a hard question now. But in the 6th grade, there was one student where it wasn't a particularly difficult question. This student has auditioned for the Columbus Symphony Youth Orchestra, and I really do hope they get in, and I dragged it down to the Weigel Center to see their performances there over the summer and into next fall. This student has participated in everything above and beyond. They are a 6th grader who has played in the 7th and 8th grade orchestra for, I think, every concert since. holiday, maybe even including the holiday. They have put so much extra effort into solo work. I think I've seen them like every AI. I'm probably more familiar with them than their AI teacher is. I've seen them for pretty much 2 hours every week after practice club. This kid's really, really, really good, and I think everyone in the 6th grade knows who I'm talking about at this moment, but it's because he's put in the time. He's put in the time. Callan Cross, get over here. I have a giant bag of candy for you. Callan Cross, come on. They want me to bring the candy to them. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Good. Good. All right, big guy. Enjoy your big guy. Before I get to my next award, I need to talk about the final full orchestra piece, the final 6th grade piece. This piece, Fumble Fingers, it has this melody that goes really fast. And I taught everybody in the 6th grade this melody. And then I wrote it out. It's originally written for violin, but I wrote it out for everybody. And everybody learned it, and everybody submitted a playing assessment on it. And I picked the best assessments, regardless of instrument, to play the melody for this song. And I feel there is a certain type of kid who doesn't get the recognition that they deserve sometimes, because they're the kids that kind of come in, they do the work well, they don't make it a scene, they don't make a big deal of anything, they just come in, buckle their head down, get the work done, and show up. Well, the results of this audition came in, and I realized that pretty much my entire viola section was in that upper half of people playing melody. Which is impressive because the viola part handling that same melody is way harder than a violin handling that melody because they have to shift. I realized that I had almost an entire viola section of that kid that comes in and does the work without making a scene of it. And these 6th grade violas that I've had in the 6th grade are awesome in a very like underrated, understated way. They just come in and get work done. And it's a great group of kids, and I'm sitting here being like, who do I pick out of this group? Who do I pick? I can't. So I have these tiny bags of candy for the entire viola section here. One of them is a physically bigger bag, but it has the same contents as the tiny bags of candy. Don't get jealous. All right, but for the 6th grade violas, I do have the whole 6th grade viola group. It's just a group that's just really, real hard to put on. All right, we're going to do that piece. I'll bring the tiny bags over the violas. We're going to do that piece, Fumble Fingers, and then while the kids are transitioning, I'll come and embarrass the 7th inning. shuffle around. First off, let me call out the sixth graders who qualified and did the melody there. That was Alexander Hickok, Callan Crosby, Nate Pollock, Aubrey Powell, Sophia Vogel, Allison Wilson, Justin Rigsby, Lexi Crest, Jacob Shoemaker, and Kyson Totaro are the half that did the melody on that piece. So a hand to them for getting that fast and accurate. All right, now there are some people that I need to embarrass in the 7th and 8th grade. First is somebody who has been extremely helpful to me. They've helped set up, they've helped tear down, and I've noticed this person has taken on sort of a mentorship role. They've come in and helped younger players of the same instrument during AI. I've realized that it was one of those realizations I had when I was thinking about this question, that I hadn't really needed to work with that section during AI because there was an 8th grader kind of already working with the younger people there, whether or not they had their part. I think they've already realized what I'm talking about. And they've helped me out a lot and have been this wonderful mentor and have developed into just this wonderful, wonderful leader. And they've helped me do so many things. And Christina Saylor, could you also help me by grabbing those bags over there that I forgot, the ones by the stands, because one of those is yours, and I forgot to bring them over here. So come on over, Christina Saylor, and please grab the bags by the ones by the big bags. This is what I mean. She's very helpful. She's always been helpful. Speaking of, I won't say Christine, by the way, is an 8th grader. One of those students she's mentored. Go ahead, pick your favorite. Is her little cousin. But there's another student. Yeah, I've heard this debate with sports. Like when Michael Jordan left the Bulls to go play baseball, like the Bulls went on and made it to the finals that year. But like when LeBron left Cleveland was like last in the league or something like that, very close to that. And people have taken that argument to say that like LeBron was truly the most valuable player there. Like he was very valuable to that team, very important to that team's success. And about a month ago, this student forgot their instrument and did not have their instrument in class. And there's as directors, there's times where like we can definitely notice the absence of a student. I think the entire class noticed the absence of this student because all of a sudden we couldn't play anything. The pieces just were not coming together. They weren't sounding right. They just sounded bad because we were so used to having this anchor, this MVP violinist playing with us. We're so used to them. They were our most valuable player this year, and that's Brielle Swire. Ironic that we're getting your instrument led you to getting an award. Which, for the record, only happened once. Only once. All right, I see Grandpa over there. Like, who's that over there? All right, now my 7th graders. All right. I have one 7th grader. Who, by the way, this was really hard this year. This was really hard this year. There's so many fantastic kids that I've been working with. But there's one 7th grader who has really played above and beyond. In this 7th grade class, I cannot imagine a rougher start to strings. This kid started learning to play on Zoom, which doesn't work. It is not something I ever wish to do again. And this kid, not only with the incredibly independent study and that kind of focus, not only did well but thrive. And we had auditions that were multi-grade level. and he still put out the best performance and got solos back on Smoke in the Water, and played tremendously and has played the hardest option available of anything I've ever given them, and that's Talon Watkins. Get over here. And this one was hard too. The other half of that 7th grade class, the half that didn't start on Zoom in COVID weird times, there's a lot of those kids started really late, and I had a lot of beginners, first-year beginners in 7th grade, and they had the most accelerated strings education I've ever seen. As it was like trying to teach a math class. It was like trying to teach an algebra class, but there were some kids that hadn't been taught addition yet. You know, and no offense to them, they had not been in a math class. It's not a fair comparison. And yet these kids buckled down, and I wish I could award all of them, and maybe I should have. In fact, I think I actually am going to do that. I'm going to award all of them, but one that did particularly stand out, if I had to choose, that went the furthest and gained the most, Ricky. Ricky, you're going to have to get over here. Just a solid answer, 7th grade viola. But all of those first-year 7th grade, you know, I'm going to get donuts for you guys. All those first-year 7th graders, I'm going to show up with donuts on Monday for those first-year 7th graders. I'll get ones for the other 7th graders because you all put in so much work, and there were kids who couldn't get it. There were some kids who tried and could not do it because I asked for a really accelerated curriculum of you guys. All right, I am done talking. I'm sure you're glad to hear that because you're here to hear music and not hear some guy babble about how important and awesome kids are. Some old guy, I'm 30 now. Ugh. Anyway, this group in front of you as a whole, I just have 2 more things to embarrass them with. First, this group over here got a superior rating at OMEA large group adjudication. And I knew it the second the judge came up to the clinic. And there was just only one tiny little thing about releases that he could pick us on. He could, you know, critique us. I was like, oh man, if that's all he's got, we've got to win. I was super confident. I didn't want to say it in case I was wrong, but I knew these guys brought a flawless performance last weekend. It was fabulous. And then the second embarrassment is, I do want you to stand up if you are a 6th grader. And give them a round of applause because they have, on their own, learned the competition music. And you may sit down a bit. Also, I appreciate the basses who sat down so you wouldn't get confused. They were already standing for their bass players. I'm like, oh, we better sit down. Because they totally look like 6th graders over there in that bass side. All right. I'm just going to do my 3 pieces. Boom, boom, boom. Ukrainian folk songs, Taco Bell's Cannon, and Night Shift. I said I wouldn't talk again, but then I forgot I had two soloists. Jane Kelly and Brielle Swihart, please stand up. They were the soloists on Kolomika in the Ukrainian folk song. And they were wonderful. And I do want to honor someone who might have gotten a little bit confused. Brock Wakely over there is also part of the competition group. He moved over with the other sixth graders. Go ahead, sit next to Callan, dude. Brock Wakely also helped us get a one and did a great job. And I want him honored as well for what he did in the competition group. So that was awesome. All right, now the final song, Night Shift.
So we are going to be transitioning on to our 7th and 8th grade band now. Let me take a second to introduce myself here. My name is Ben Weaver. I am the assistant band director here at Marion City Schools. This is my first year here, and let me say what a pleasure and delight it has been to get to work with these students. As Mr. Patterson has already said, we have some outstanding students in our music program, both in the band, in the choir, and in the orchestra. I'm very lucky to get to work with this district and get to work with them. So I want to say thank you to all the students for all of your hard work this year. Thank you again to all of the families that are here to support your students and for all of your efforts throughout the year to make sure that they are successful, that they're where they need to be, that they always show up prepared with all their materials, and it really does make a difference and make our job much easier. So thank you to the families as well. We'd like to start by recognizing a few of our students here tonight. Our first group that I'd like to recognize is all of our percussion section. That's our drums and xylophones back there in the back. Give a round of applause for them. So all of our percussionists, they take on a unique responsibility of having to do double duty when we have concerts where we have our 6th graders performing at 6 o'clock and our 7th and 8th grade performing an hour later. And all of these percussion students were here for both concerts, so they're pulling double their weight tonight. So thank you again to all of our percussionists. I also want to recognize one of our students who is actually a 6th grader, but when we were a little short on some saxophones to perform in our Kings Island performance this year, as well as Trills and Thrills, as well as our OMEA performance last weekend. This student was eager to step up and take on the challenge of learning some higher level music. He's been a really important member of our group, so I'd like to recognize now Aaron Eaches. We have a couple of awards that we're going to be handing out tonight. I'm going to be handing out the first one right now, and this is to recognize, actually, you know what, before I get ahead of myself here, we'll follow the script. We wanted to recognize a couple of students that participated in solo and ensemble competition this year. Solo and ensemble is essentially where the students learn either a solo where they are performing just by themselves on their instrument, usually with a piano accompaniment. And we had a couple students sign up to do solos, as well as a couple students sign up to do ensembles. So this year we had a brass trio go to solo and ensemble, and we also had a clarinet quartet perform. So I'd like to recognize these students, so they'd stand up real quick so they can be recognized. Dalton Mead, J.J. Field, Autumn Osborne, Isabel Moore, Brianna Davis, and Nevaeh Baker. Round of applause for all of them. I also wanted to share some great news with all of you tonight. As many of you probably heard, we performed at OMEA last weekend, as well as the orchestra and the choir. And we are proud to say that our 7th and 8th grade band earned a superior rating at OMEA, so congratulations. All right, now I can get to my award here. So we're going to be recognizing one outstanding member of our 7th grade class and one outstanding member of our 8th grade class. I have the honor of recognizing our 7th grade outstanding band member. This person is someone who works really hard. They have taken on a challenge of learning a new instrument. They take it upon themselves to come in to get extra help during our AI periods at school. They sign up for extra things like solo and ensemble. They help out with marching band equipment when they can. They are involved in our honor bands that we attend. And this person is just glowing every morning when she gets to school and comes in and says a very bright good morning to us, and we really appreciate it. Mr. Hartman and I always enjoy getting to see this person first thing in the morning. So I'd like to recognize now our outstanding 7th grade band member, Autumn Osborne. And they're also getting some starburst because they're stars. So, all right. So we're going to get to our music now. We're going to be performing our 3 pieces that we performed for our OMEA competition that earned a superior rating. So those 3 pieces are A Quiet Landing, which is a march; Forgotten Heroes, which is more of a expressive, slower flowing piece; and then we'll close out with our contest selection Japanese pictures. So welcome to the podium, Mr. Jacob Hartman.
announce our 8th grade outstanding member and go over just a few dates. So I'll just go over the dates first. If you happen to be in the room and have a future 6th grader that will be a 6th grader in next year's class, we have a band sign-up meeting this coming Monday at 7 in the band room. So if you know of anybody, a cousin, brother, sister, whomever, we'd welcome them to that meeting at 7 p.m. this coming Monday. If you can't make the meeting, just get in touch with us via email or phone, and we'll be sure to get you signed up appropriately for class next year for those that applies to. Other things I'd like to discuss, this one pertains especially to 8th graders that are future freshmen. The way our band program operates at the high school level, it's a co-curricular ensemble where we do marching band related things in the fall during the football season, and then after the fall concludes and the football season concludes, then we do kind of a more traditional band setup that you are accustomed to as a middle school band there. So, for 8th graders, incoming freshmen, incoming marching band participants, the general start date for our band camp for those new folks is July 17th. And it's that first week, July 17th, July 21st, it'll be 12 to 7 p.m. We'll hand out some stuff as we get closer to the end of the year regarding that. Percussion and color guard, anybody in those ensembles will have some separate dates that are being discussed currently, but those will be a little bit earlier. And like I said, we'll get out handouts to anybody that applies to. So that's, again, for marching band participants, and we went over the 15th day, May 15th for beginning band sign up. Lastly, as I'm sure all, especially the students are aware of, May 23rd is the last day of school. And it really helps everybody out a lot if we make sure that all our students take home their instruments over the summer. Not only that, but we want to see our students practicing over the summer on occasion, just so that when they come back next year, they haven't lost their skill sets. Those skills are still there, and we can hit the ground running and continue to make progress with them at middle school next year. So please encourage them to practice from time to time. I saw this online the other day, and I thought it was a pretty cool suggestion. Have your students, your child, teach you how to play their instrument. See if you can play like a beginning song or make some notes on the instrument. That could be a fun way for you guys to interact and just get to know each other and get to appreciate what these students are doing for you. So, that's that. I'd like to announce our outstanding 8th grade member. As with all the other awards that have been given out today, this person is somebody who works very hard and has a positive attitude, an exceptional level of commitment to the program, and just somebody that, when they're not there, you notice, somebody that has significant impact on the overall success of the group. This student loves music. You name it, he's probably played it or explored it or watched a YouTube video about it. And he continues to explore these curiosities as he develops as a musician. So we're very pleased to announce this year's Grant Middle School Band 8th grade outstanding member as Easton Stoneberg. All right, and we're going to kick it off with one final tune. Thanks for your support. It means so much to us. And students, make sure you all thank your parents and guardians as well, because you would not be here without them and everything that they do for you. So make sure that you know you're grateful for them. We're grateful for you. And we're going to close it out with a song called Japanese Pictures. And as I've said, every concert so far this year, there are several ice cream establishments that are open this evening following the concert. These students all deserve that, so take them out for a treat and enjoy the rest of your evening. We hope you enjoy this final song, Japanese Pictures. Thanks for coming tonight.